Imagine this. You're standing in a wooden sluice box watching water drain away, and suddenly you see it. Gold so thick, so concentrated that it looks like pudding. Yellow, glittering pudding. And it's yours. Well, it was yours until a sheriff's posse showed up to steal it. What do? If you're Charles Ferguson in 1850s Nevada City, you grab that 100-pound long tom with superhuman strength and run. Welcome to the story of Nevada City, California, where fortunes were made in a single day, where men shot candle wicks to prove their aim, and where the gold was so plentiful that miners literally couldn't believe what they were seeing. Welcome to Southwest Desert, where adventure meets the arid beauty of the American Southwest. Join us as we explore the rugged landscapes, uncover hidden historical gems, and dive deep into the lost gold legends and gold mining history of this iconic region. Please leave a like or comment. This is very helpful. Let's journey together into the heart of the Southwest Desert. In 1848, when James Marshall first prospected the hills of what would become Nevada City, he couldn't have imagined what was about to unfold. Within just a few years, this remote spot in the Sierra Nevada would explode into California's third largest city, trailing only San Francisco and Sacramento. 10,000 souls descended on these hills, all chasing the same dream: gold. But Nevada City wasn't like other mining camps. While most 49ers were bent over rivers, swirling pans in freezing water, Nevada City's miners had discovered something different: ancient river deposits that held concentrations of gold that seemed almost impossible. They called their technique coyote hole mining, digging small shafts into these prehistoric riverbeds, and the returns were staggering. $6,000 in a single day wasn't uncommon. To put that in perspective, that's well over $100,000 in today's money, earned in one day by one man. The gold rush transformed reasonable men into obsessed treasure hunters. In Nevada City's main street, a group of miners literally started digging a shaft right in the middle of the thoroughfare. When a local storekeeper told them to stop, they laughed. There was no law against it, they said. The merchant's response was pure frontier logic. Then I'll make a law. He drew his revolver, and suddenly, everyone agreed that mining in the main street was, indeed, illegal. This was Nevada City, where laws were made at gunpoint and boundaries were determined by how far a rifle could shoot. One pioneer, when asked about his claim's extent, simply pointed to his weapon leaning against a tree and drawled, "Just as far as that rifle carries up and down this ravine, I claim, and no further." Nobody argued. But the real madness began in October 1850, when the massive quartz discovery at neighboring Grass Valley changed everything. Suddenly, Nevada City's hard rock ledges, which miners had literally laughed at just months before, became the most valuable real estate in California. The men who'd been mocked for digging up rock were now sitting on fortunes. Charles Ferguson learned this the hard way. He and his partner had staked a promising claim and worked it briefly before heading out on a supply run. When they returned, two claim jumpers had seized their property and weren't interested in discussing ownership. Ferguson did what any self-respecting miner would do. He ignored them and started sinking a shaft anyway. The jumpers sued. Somehow, impossibly, they won. When the sheriff's posse arrived to enforce the court's decision, Ferguson and his partner were running ore through their long tom, watching the gold separate from worthless rock. Ferguson tried to stall, arguing with the lawmen, but they weren't having it. They shut off his water and picked up his long tom. That's when Ferguson saw it. As the water drained away, the sluice box revealed a sight that would haunt his dreams forever: gold so thick it resembled yellow pudding. The concentration was unlike anything he'd seen. Adrenaline surged through his veins, giving him what he later described as superhuman strength. He grabbed that long tom, a device that normally required 2 men to lift, and carried it bodily 50 yards away. Working frantically, he scooped the richest portion into a tin dish and sank it out of sight in a pool of water. He was still panning out the rest when one of the claim jumpers walked up and saw what remained. The jumper's face fell. Whatever he'd expected, it wasn't this disappointing residue. Discouraged, he sold the entire claim for a mere $100. The buyer? He promptly sold it back to Ferguson. Stories like Ferguson's spread like wildfire, drawing thousands more fortune seekers. By 1851, Nevada City was a chaotic boomtown of 250 buildings. Frame houses, canvas tents, and log cabins sprawled along a ravine bottom. The town was bursting at the seams, and the 4-mile road connecting it to Grass Valley became the most traveled stretch in California. Choked with ox teams, mule trains, stagecoaches, and cattle herds kicking up perpetual clouds of dust. The staging operations out of Sacramento were pure pandemonium. Imagine a street jammed with dozens of coaches, hundreds of horses, mountains of baggage, and aggressive runners, literally grabbing prospective passengers and shoving them toward their company's stage. "All aboard for Nevada City," they'd shout. "Only 3 seats left. Last chance today. Take you there in 5 hours." One traveler described being physically seized by a runner who began pushing him onto the Nevada City coach. When he finally managed to protest that he wanted to go to Coloma, not Nevada City, the runner didn't let go. Instead, he held tight and shouted for a colleague, "Oh, Bill, here's a man for Coloma." The system required nearly as many runners as passengers, and the real danger wasn't being left behind. It was ending up on the wrong stage entirely. But if you made it to Nevada City with gold in your possession, your troubles were just beginning. The 4-mile stretch between Nevada City and Grass Valley became notorious for road agents. In May 1858, 5 bandits stopped the Auburn stage just outside town. Passengers braced for robbery, especially the Nevada City bank messenger carrying a substantial load of gold dust. He drew his pistol, but one of the robbers calmly told him to be careful. What happened next was pure genius. The messenger suddenly relaxed and agreed there was really nothing to fight about. All the real treasure, he explained, was in a Wells Fargo chest on the next stage. The bandits conducted a quick search, believed him, and let the stage pass. They then robbed the second stage of $21,000. The clever bank agent felt a twinge of guilt about Wells Fargo's loss, but as he reasoned, business was business. The robbery game reached its peak in the mid-1860s with a bandit known as Jack Williams. He started small, stopping lone travelers on the road from You Bet to Nevada City, 6 men in a single night on one occasion. But Williams was ambitious. In May 1866, his gang stopped the North San Juan stage and robbed 2 Chinese passengers. Then they turned to the Wells Fargo box and hit a problem, an inner chest made of chilled iron that they couldn't crack. The stage rolled on, Wells Fargo triumphant. Jack Williams wasn't the type to give up. Days later, his gang stopped another stage, this time equipped with 2 sledgehammers, a crowbar, a portable blacksmith's kit, and giant powder, explosives. They told the terrified passengers they'd get that gold or blast the entire coach into the Yuba River. True to their word, the second explosion blew the chest open. Williams hoisted the gold over his shoulder, passed around a flask of brandy as a courtesy to the passengers, and disappeared into the wilderness. Nevada City had dealt with plenty of rough characters, but this brazenness was too much. A 6-man posse rode out under the county sheriff. Strangely, 5 of them abandoned the pursuit, leaving only Deputy Steve Venard to continue alone with his 15-shot Henry rifle. Venard crossed the South Yuba and suddenly found himself face to face with the 3 outlaws. 2 were already aiming at him when he opened fire. His first shot struck Jack Williams in the heart. His second shot pierced another bandit's head. His fourth shot dropped the last man. 3 bandits, 4 shots, all dead. By early afternoon, the gold was back with Wells Fargo, and Nevada City's honor was restored. For all its violence and chaos, Nevada City maintained an odd civility. When families began arriving in 1851, particularly respectable women, the miners transformed almost overnight. These men, comfortable around saloon girls, treated virtuous women with near reverence. Every miner considered himself a sworn guardian, and any dishonorable word or action toward a proper woman would result in punishment. An offender would remember so long as he lived, if, perchance, he survived the chastisement. The town even boasted culture. A barn-like theater on Main Street became the first playhouse in the Sierras, where Edwin Booth performed and audiences hooted, yelled, whistled, and stamped their feet through productions of Richard III. When disputes arose, gentlemen often settled them through dueling rather than brawling, though not always with tragic results. 2 rival doctors once fired 5 shots each in a saloon, sent everyone diving for cover, satisfied their honor without landing a single hit, and celebrated with drinks afterward. The gold that built Nevada City, that yellow pudding glittering in Charles Ferguson's sluice box, that iron chest Jack Williams died trying to steal, those ancient river deposits worth $6,000 a day transformed a wilderness into California's 3rd largest city almost overnight. It created a place where laws were made at gunpoint, where stage runners literally shanghaied passengers, where a lone deputy with a Henry rifle could take down 3 outlaws, and where miners became gentlemen in the presence of respectable women. Nevada City still stands today in the Sierra Nevada foothills, its name predating the state of Nevada by over a decade, a fact residents will passionately explain to anyone who asks. But the real legacy isn't the name. It's the story of what men will do when they see gold thick enough to look like pudding, and the wild, violent, strangely civilized world they built chasing that glittering dream. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe for more great content. Hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. See you in the next video.